So we'll create compensation plan now. Oh, sorry. So each plan will be having different name. If you're getting a salary plan, so here a few things that you need to note here is, so whenever you're creating any plan, be it salary, be it merit, be it stock, be it bonus, everything will be based on the apply FTE percentage will be there. Okay, if you're selecting this person, select this apply FTE percentage based on employee joining date, and whatever the standard time that you would have given for payment. So this checkbox will enable to calculate based on working number of working hours that employee has made. Okay,
Mhm.
if number of working hours are 8 hours per day, and I've joined in the middle of month, and for that 15 days, whatever number of work number of hours that I would have worked, I'll be getting kind of compensation for the salary plan actually. So whatever salary plan that I'm creating, so that will be calculated based on the FTE percentage. FTE percentage is nothing but full-time equivalent percentage actually. Okay,
Mhm.
so based on number of hours that employee will be working, your salary plan will be calculated and it will be assigned to that one. And the other important thing that you need to know is exclude from merit process. Okay, so every organization will be having certain time periods, that employee should be eligible for merit process. Okay, if employee has joined before June, they'll be eligible for annual compensation review process that is coming up in the month of October. Okay, if employee has joined after June, employee will not be eligible for review process. So such kind of things every organization will be having. So if you're actually setting up a salary plan, you have an option to select whether this salary plan has to be included in merit process or not. So if you
Mhm.
wanted to include this one, you will be checking this one, or you will be unchecking this one. So for every year, we'll be creating a review process template actually. So annual
Mhm.
review process template for 2022, annual review process template for 2021. So when I'm creating this template, I'll be defining when hire date is greater than June, then not eligible kind of rule I'll be defining. So when I'm creating the 2022 for that particular I'll be defining. So people who are part of earlier period, they should be all coming eligible for this review process. So it's completely review process template you'll be defining. If employee is not becoming eligible for current annual review process, definitely they'll become eligible for next year annual review process. That has to, obviously they have to write. So in compensation review process, we'll be defining certain time period for the current year. So based on that current year, employees will be becoming eligible for that particular annual review process period. If you're actually doing this one, and this apply, this will be not calculated based on employers 100%. Whatever the salary plan that you're actually giving, amount you'll be specifying here, whatever amount you'll be specifying under salary plan, that will be 100% applicable, irrespective of FTE hours. Here probably I'll take the eligibility rule that I've created yesterday to this organization, so that whatever salary plan that I'm defining will be applicable for this organization. So all this will need to be attached at a compensation package, so that I'm noting down. And next comes, we'll create one more plan like alliance plan. So every organization will be having some kind of alliances, will be offering to employees, like fuel alliance, communication alliance kind of things. Similarly, here also you'll be having same options that we have seen. And when you wanted to have your alliance plan to be reimbursable based on the submissions that employee will be making, you'll be checking this checkbox. Okay. So when you check this checkbox, these are actually reimbursable amounts. Employee will be providing some kind of proofs, to let's say fuel allowance is there. So they have to provide a kind of fuel receipts in order to reimburse their expenses and all. So such kind of, if alliance plan is a reimbursable, you'll be selecting this one. But if it is not reimbursable, if it's just general pay, you'll be actually not selecting this one, and you'll be selecting whatever amount based plan that you wanted to give. You'll be selecting. If it is amount based plan, you'll be selecting, and if it is a percentage on your compensation, you'll be selecting this one. If there is a specific unit other than compensation, out of your compensation, if you're specifying any kind of specific amount, you'll be specifying unit based plan. But I'm selecting a kind of amount based plan where I'll be defining some specific amount for this compensation, for this alliance. Here also you have the same options what we have seen here, but compensation element would be different here. You'll be selecting alliance actually. Here probably the eligibility rule that we have defined here, rule for manager and above. Okay. So this we'll be creating the plans, compensation plans like that. We have a number of plans, stock plan, merit plan, and all. You'll be defining like this, and you'll be specifying whatever eligibility rule that you wanted to have. That particular plan should be applicable for. You'll be specifying. Now we have eligibility rule. Now we have a compensation plan created. So what is our next step? As part of the process that we have discussed, a compensation package has to be created. So which groups both the grades and plans, whatever we have created, that should be a compensation plan will be mixing up the things. So this is actually a kind of where you'll be performing both whatever you have created in earlier steps, the eligibility rules, the compensation grades, plans, and all. You'll be combining all this together to make a compensation package actually. So which will be offered to employee. Create compensation package is the task. This compensation package should be applicable for complete organization. People who are getting hired under this organization should be applicable for this complete organization, whatever eligibility rule that we are giving here. Whenever you are offering this compensation package to all the employees, probably I would have taken one organization, which would have created, but in real time scenarios, you'll be specifying, let's say for executive leadership team, you have created one organization, and whatever the plans that you have defined for the specific to leadership team and grades that you have defined specific to leadership team, you'll be giving them a kind of separate package, and you'll be attaching that to eligibility rule, and whatever grades that you have created, you'll be attaching here. So whenever you're attaching plans here, whatever eligibility rules that you have defined when you're when you're creating plans, that will be shown here. Whatever an eligibility rule that you have defined here, it will be showing there. Okay, the moment you select the plan, automatically whatever eligibility rules that you have defined for these plans will be populated here. Now you are defining a compensation package which is applicable for the entire organization, and for the entire organization probably people may be from India, people may be from UK, people from maybe different countries. For each country, you have defined specific pay range which you have defined in compensation grade actually when you have created, and also similarly plans. So you have defined a specific plan, and for each plan you have defined which who has to be eligible for this one. And now when you click on this, you'll be able to submit. Package name already, Workday name already exists. So now this compensation package has been created whenever you're hiring an employee. Okay, whenever you're hiring an employee from any from that particular country where you have defined a compensation grade and plans for that particular employees, you will be offering this compensation package to that team member actually. So this is actually compensation team will be taking care as part of hiring process. Once HR people initiate the hiring process for any candidate, as per business process routing process, there will be a step called proposed compensation business process step in hiring when hiring an employee. So that will send a kind of notification that this employee is joining with this job profile, with this job code, and compensation has to be proposed for this employee. So compensation administrator will be reviewing what compensation range or what grade that has been defined for this employee. Administrator will be attaching that particular compensation package to that particular employee, so that the compensation, a complete mixture of the grades and plans will be provided to that particular employee, and whatever alliances that you assigned there based on the eligibility rule, you will be actually giving that to employee based on the eligibility rule that you have defined. That's how you typically configure compensation package. Compensation package is a kind of solid kind of group which mixtures both plans and groups and offers to the employee. So that is one thing. This is what we have completely in a regular compensation. Probably I would have created grades profiles, as a kind of sample things, but in real time you will be getting actual requirements from your compensation team. This is the job profile with whom this package has to be, this compensation grade has to be attached, and when recruiter is taking that with hiring process, that particular grade pay range that would have defined in grade will be offered to that employee. And similarly, a package whatever we have created will be attached to that employee compensation package. If you go to employee profile, so we have seen, we go to Julie Bowles compensation. A package will be offered to this employee, management compensation change. Okay, this was the package that was being created. So if you see here, whatever eligibility rule that we have defined has been created here for this specific organization. And similar, if we come down, whatever compensation grades that employee is applicable for. So we have created the similar as how we have created those compensation grades has been assigned here. And similarly, plans, whatever compensation plans are part of this employee part of alliance plan and merit plan, other plans, whatever stock plan, everything based on completely organization requirement, that particular eligibility rule would have defined and would have been attached to that particular package actually. That's how typically configure compensation package to employee profile. So when you get a chance, to edit any kind of compensation packages, changing the eligibility rules, so you typically need to access this compensation package and edit that one. And if you wanted to make changes, you can edit. And if you wanted to change any kind of rules to that one, and you can make those changes actually. Okay. So that is how you'll play around with regular compensation. So there are only four kind of changes that you will be doing, or four kind of creations that you will be performing. One is grade with attachment of profiles, and the other one is compensation plan. The other one is package. Once you have the package, you'll be defining the eligibility role, and the last step is you'll be assigning these eligibility roles to the compensation components. These are all the five steps that you'll be performing in entire regular compensation process. When it comes to enhancements, you'll be editing the same, and when you wanted to create, you'll be creating the same. Everything will be within these five only. These are all the five steps that you'll be compensation flow. So you'll be defining grades, you'll be having plans, and you'll be grouping both grades and plans together to make a compensation package. And whatever eligibility rules that you have defined, either in an initial step or after, also once you define grades and plans, you can define eligibility rule based on the package that you have defined. And then once you have the eligibility rule, you'll be assigning this eligibility rule to the components that you have created. Which component has to be under this eligibility rule, you'll be defining. So anything related to regular compensation part, you will be within these five steps only. Other than these five steps, you'll be not getting. Probably we may not create. We would have created two plans. One is a salary plan, and the other one is an alliance plan. Similarly, there could be another plan called merit plan or stock plan. Only plan would be different, but steps and defining eligibility rules will be within these five steps, within this flow only. You will not have any other flow related to regular compensation. But advanced compensation is a little different, which will not follow this flow actually.